Perspective here. Let's bring in Republican Congressman Mark Meadows. He sits on the House Oversight Committee, which will hold this morning's hearing to examine the Secret Service response to White House security breaches. You also sit on the Foreign Affairs Committee, Congressman. I'm going to ask you questions that are germane to both. Let's begin with the White House. How big a problem do you think you have with the Secret Service?
Well, obviously, we have a problem with leadership and training when we have an event like this. When it's it shouldn't be harder to get into a Nationals playoff game than the East Room of the White House, and so we need to really address it.
And is this, in terms of what the fix is, what do you think the solution is here?
Well, part of it is making sure that this security detail is indeed an elite security detail. All of us have believed that the White House should be the most secure place, not only for the president, but for the president's first family. And for this kind of event to be leaked out by whistleblowers is very troubling. We need the director to be honest and forthright today. Hopefully she will do that. But we need to restore the confidence for the American people and certainly for the first family.
Now, when you talk about confidence and you talk about ensuring that you have the best of the best, the words special operations comes to mind. Is this a point in time to consider whether the Secret Service should be the detachment protecting the president? You have elite military forces. Should you be looking elsewhere?
Well, the Secret Service and the Capitol Police are trained, they're budgeted to do this very act of protecting the president and the first family. It's not a lack of funds, it really is a lack of leadership as I see it. You know, in the very press release, it said they showed great restraint and discipline. Those two words combined in a press release that's put forth sends the wrong message. Really, I see a lack on both of areas, and what we need to make sure of is that they make decisions, not once, not twice, but over 5 times different decisions were made that put the first family and certainly those in the White House in jeopardy.
Let me ask you something. If you had to protect your life tomorrow, you knew the threat was coming and it was severe, who would you want to protect you? The Secret Service or SEAL Team 6?
Well, obviously, SEAL Team 6 is a great fighting force, but they have 2 different missions. And the Secret Service mission is very clear. They're there to protect it. They've had a good history. We just need to refocus.
Right, because I'm just saying, as you're in that hearing today, it's always nice to think about some outside the box. You've been complaining about the Secret Service for a long time. There have been a big history of problems. The change isn't happening. Pearson is there now for 1.5 years. We'll have to wait to hear what she has to say. But solutions are going to be at the top of the order. Let me ask you about 2 other big-ticket items this morning while I have you. The first is, there's some talk now that Nancy Pelosi may talk to the Republican leadership about having a vote, bringing you guys back to D.C. to get debate and consensus on a plan for the war against ISIS, which, by the way, is already going on. Would you come back and debate and vote?
Well, certainly that's not Nancy Pelosi's call, that's Speaker Boehner's call, but indeed many of us have already expressed a willingness to come back. You know, the security of Americans is paramount. We're willing to be here. You know, I'm back for this hearing today, but that certainly is not out of the realm of reasonableness.
Then why hasn't it happened?
You know, really, I think what we're looking at right now is Speaker Boehner. I don't want to speak for him, but working with the administration to make sure that we're there. But I know that Republicans are ready to come back and take a vote and have debate on what is the best move forward with regards to Syria and ISIS and the American people's safety.
Little hypocritical. Do you think that on one hand the Republicans are suing the president over his executive actions, but you just gave him a pass on going to war without responsibility under the Constitution that you have to declare war?
You know, there was over 6 hours of debate. You know, there's a number of ways that we look at this that we were debating before we left as we dealt with ISIS. You know, the current strategy right now is airstrikes with arming the Syrians. Certainly, a lot of our generals and military folks want to make sure that we have a comprehensive plan. I'm committed to do that, and I think a number of us are.
All right, before I let you go, let me just get a quick take on the porn bill that you're bringing up. You've introduced a bill to ban federal employees from watching porn. Didn't know it was allowed to be watching. It's a good thing to know that my tax dollars are doing. Is the porn problem that bad in Washington that you need a bill?
Well, you know, I would hope that we wouldn't need a bill, but what we're finding is agency after agency after agency has issues with this. It's something that I'm hopeful that the agencies will take up on their own, but if not, then certainly Congress is willing to act and look at that, because like you say, you didn't know that it would be even legal to do that. Simply blocking those sites and making sure that the American taxpayer get their money worth is what I'm all about.
Well, Representative Mark Meadows, I look very forward to the debate on that bill. It'll be very interesting to see if anybody opposes it. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. We look forward to what happens with the hearing on the Secret Service. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.